Are we back? What up, Aim Lock? I feel like we're back. And it looks like the frames, yeah, we just needed a clean reset of everything. Holy crap, that drove me crazy. What up, guys? We'll let you filter in. I know we're a couple minutes late. We will go a little bit past then. Welcome in. We're going to let everything settle in. I'm going to let you come in. What up, Aim? Ah, you're my idol, brother. How we doing? What up? What up? I'm going to let everyone come back. I apologize for having to do that. Sometimes we got to do that. I'm going to try to stay positive. Welcome. Y'all hear that, dude? Pink Lemonade. What up? Clutchy, thank you for your resubscription of 40 months, too, by the way. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, my guy. I think next week we might swap back out the PSC, the Shure SM7B for this mic we're using. I think. Yo, Trev, I'd love to see the M's get a bat at the deadline. Yet I worry they want to spend money on it. They 1,000% don't want to spend money on it. I think Jerry DePoto's a smart baseball mind, but he does unfortunately come off like he's the CEO of freaking T-Mobile. So it's not about getting the best players. It's about proving to your guy that pays you that you can win or do just enough to win without spending any money. That's not entirely true. Not without spending any money. Just keeping costs down so that it can be a extremely profitable, lucrative business. Which, I understand. But how much profit you care about is completely your own decision to make. So, you know what I mean? Is YouTube chat sequestered away? No, Zebra. It is all together, and I can see whether or not it's from YouTube or from Twitch. So, I have Shure SMB. Yeah, you know that already, MC. I like that this one's more of a condenser ambient mic. So like I can get it basically captures everything, me and then everything in this room really well. So if Kate comes in and talks, like you'll be able to hear her pretty well too. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I like this because it doesn't have to be this close to my freaking mouth or on the camera, and you can hear me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I keep saying, you know what I mean? 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 You still tight with T Blevs? With Ty? Yeah, we talk every once in a while. I've been on this podcast. We share like DMs and texts every once in a while, and I send him a message like, hey, what's up? Same with like Tim, and I probably talk to Lupo more than anybody though. But that's because I am part of our Rare Drops board, and we have some fun stuff in the play or in the works there too. So I'm excited. Know what I'm saying? Yes. Just here for the cats. I'll let you know. I'll get the cats whenever they're around. All right, guys. We did a lot of learning last week. I just want to be first and foremost, as people continue filtering in, welcome back to Mayday Monday. We've decided Mayday Monday is the way to do it. I don't know if you noticed, but I changed that to be Mayday Monday instead of Monday Mayday. This is Mayday Monday, where we spend the next 2 hours from 8 to 10 a.m. every single week. Actually, 10 a.m. at the earliest Pacific time, and we get into last week's news and controversies, and we do some player breakdowns, and I try to answer as many of your guys' questions as possible. We are introducing a couple new segments this week. I think we're going to clean things up. We're not going to go over scores like we did, because that isn't relevant past 10 minutes past I do it. So we'll have the scoreboard up, we'll check it, that'll be our default screen, but we're not going to do that all the time. And I have some new stuff that I want to teach you. I also got the sound effects put on my soundboard, so maybe that'll play out a little bit better, but we are taking this one day at a time. Don't forget to join the Discord, !Discord. We have the baseball segment in the Discord, and I'm going to be doing a weekly forum question where you can just give me, like, whatever. I want to know what your guys' take. Basically, we're flipping the script, and you guys are the analysts for that. We're going to go over a lot of those answers, and just, like, I'll give you my 2 cents on a lot of them, which is cool. This week was, give me a player that you think has surprised you this year. And it's in there right now. If you want to go answer and do that right now, you can do it right now. Because I've not got to that section. I'm going to do it halfway through the show, so you have another hour to do it. So, we're going to do player breakdowns. I'll keep a list. And we usually do like 3 players. And I can touch on, I'll touch on other guys as we go. Like last week we did Mason Miller real quick because he doesn't need a super heavy breakdown. But like this week, one guy we are doing no matter what is Luis Heel, because that's gonna be really interesting between him and Clark Schmidt for who has to take a step out of the rotation. Now I haven't seen how Clark's thrown his last couple, so it might be a little bit of an easier decision now. So we can look that up, but I want to know. I want to kind of start projecting what's going to happen when Garrett comes back. He's injured? Oh, he's injured. Okay, well then that's easy. This is an easy question. See, here's the thing. Weekends for me, very hard to catch up. I reserve that for family time, especially because, you know, Kate's almost 6 months pregnant now. So like Saturdays are kind of like, I try to be as on the internet as little as possible, frankly, because you just have to do that. Like I need a day like that, or I just lose my goddamn mind. So, yeah, shut down a couple days ago. Okay, thank you. See, that's what you're. See, this is why this show's dope, guys. This is why you guys are dope. Babe Schneider. Are we talking about young mustachio on the Toronto Blue Jays? Because I like that guy. I like that guy. You know the gender? No, we do. Yeah, it's a boy. We're having a boy. Little boy, little baby boy, which is the 6th boy in our family. So my sisters and my brother had his son literally on Saturday morning, and his baby shower was on Saturday. So I drove down to my hometown, and we went to it, and like the news came through in the middle of the night that they baby came early. Mom wasn't handling it super well. She's predispositioned for a couple of the scarier parts of pregnancy, so they just, with an abundance of caution, 3.5 weeks early, which is a little bit early, but not too bad, and there were no complications. The baby's fine, happy, healthy, and literally to be 3.5 weeks early and be 5 pounds, this baby was gonna be massive. This baby was gonna be massive. Tell me how to practice pitcher's defense. PFPs, pitcher fielding practice. Have a coach hit you all the bunts and the comebackers and covering second. One thing you can do is go to a big league spring training and then just be on the team, and because you practice it every freaking day. All right, guys, let's get into the first segment, the news of the day. Let me thank the brand new sub. I'm so sorry, Titan the Wise, brand new Prime sub on Twitch. Guys, on YouTube, if you guys are on YouTube, we're probably not going to do memberships over there at the moment unless I can give you something very new and fresh. If you would like to subscribe, Twitch is the place to do it. You don't need to. There's nothing special. It's just emotes and like special roles in Discord. There might become something in the future, but for now, you don't need to. But I will give you love if you do. So I actually don't think you can even. I don't think you can become a member on YouTube right now, so I wouldn't worry about it. How many Apple Watch bands do you have? Just this one. I'm a nerd, or I'm a dork, but I don't really care. So I don't really care about how I look. All right, let's get in to the news. Chat room. This is the right one. This one's away. So, This past week, a lot of stuff happened. And you guys may be well aware of this one. This was interesting to me. This is another John Boy breakdown. Now, real quick, let me give a big shout out to John Boy and John Boy Media. We're going to use them a lot because they organize a lot of the things that I'm already planning on talking about. And I think that, I mean, we have so much crossover. Pretty much everyone in both of these streams is probably very well acquainted. But I think I like Jimmy's breakdowns. And sometimes I go grab the clips myself. But just make sure you guys are going to give John Boy love and making sure you throw the sub. Interact in every way you possibly can. Follow them on everything. That is John Boy _ on everything and John Boy Media. They're great. All right. So let me give you a little background on this heinous situation. We got Lars Nootbaar batting. Orioles up 3-0. Who do we have behind the plate? My front runner for the next Angel Hernandez, and that is Laz Diaz. Laz Diaz. And let's let Jimmy give us the gist here. There's some things were said. Lars complains, or he criticizes balls and strikes. You're not supposed to do that. Who is Lars's manager? It's Ollie Marmol. Ollie Marmol gets thrown out like literally 10% of the games he manages. So as you can imagine, something gonna happen.
Bottom of the third inning, first pitch outside, called strike one to Lars.
Ball.
Nootbaar. This breakdown is brought to you by DraftKings. Third pitch also outside.
This stream is not brought to you by DraftKings, just to be clear. Thank you. There's 3 balls, then 2, but it's 1 and 2 somehow.
It's called for strike 2. Now, Lars, he got ejected the game before this. He's trying to keep his head about him. 2-2 count, but Baltimore knows, hey, they're giving us the outside. Let's just play around over there. Means is all over it. Fights off, fouls it back, works the walk. Nope, that's strike 3. He says all 3.
And he would be correct. All 3 of those pitches were very clearly balls. Let's see how this goes.
He's like, all 3. All right, cool. He's not really that happy about it because all 3 strikes called on him were off the plate. The next at-bat starts, and now it's
Lars Nootbaar. Love that guy.
All fucking 3. All 3. You know, and I'm just like, wait, what did he say? All 3? And then we have a little bit of a hot mic here because that pitch is also, it's the same pitch. So he's consistent. We got to give him that. He hears the dugout barking.
Today. Uh-oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so I have an issue with this right here. I don't think you can say, huh? Stop.
Today.
Because huh is like, give me an answer. And then, okay, stop. That's usually the warning. You can't say anything else. But then he follows that up with,
Yeah.
huh?
Extremely based out of Jimmy here. You can't ask a question and then say, don't answer the question. Called an oxy dum-dum.
Can't do that. Huh? Stop. Huh? You're inviting him to talk. So he's going to say, all fucking 3 were off the plate. And then he gets ejected.
But
he kind of invited him to
again.
say it again. Huh means repeat yourself, kind sir.
True.
Very quickly
Get in here.
tell Laz, get the fuck over there. Crew chief.
Okay,
I'm trying to tell you that you're.
So now, another thing to pay attention. I don't really have a problem with the guy behind the plate. I understand that was kind of a weird thing, but you know, he said fuck. Like if you say fuck, you're probably gonna get thrown out. If you're asked to repeat yourself and then you add a swear word in there, you're probably gonna get thrown out. That's mostly what it was about. And I mean, that's pretty consistent. Most guys do that. There's nothing weird about that. Then Laz, who is the crew chief, because he's just been around the lot. Okay, so here's the deal. Laz Diaz. There's a few guys who make it about them, and Laz is one of them. Okay? And he has an issue, and I've heard this anecdotally from a lot of players that I played with, that they'll argue with him. They'll say, hey, I had that here. He'll be like, no, it wasn't. I'm right. Like, he'll be like that. He'll be like, nope, I'm right. Okay. And then, all right, we'll go back and look at it. We'll see. Great. Next day, the person goes back and looks at it. It's very clearly wrong. He goes to home plate. He's like, hey, you check it out yesterday? Or he gets to first base, whatever, where Laz is, or at third base. He's like, hey, I checked it out. Did you check it out? He's like, yeah, I did. I'm right. No, you're not. So he just doubles down when he doesn't, like, when there's no consequences. He just deny because nothing will ever happen, right? So he's that's the way he is. And he does that a lot. And he likes confrontation. So here we go. Watch this.
Fucking up tonight. And now Laz comes in to get in between because he's the crew chief. He's the veteran umpire. And Marmal is just going to very quickly tell Laz, get the fuck over there. Get the fuck over there. Points to him. And he's just saying all three. Listen, all three of those. No, all three of those. All three of those are off the plate. And he's got a point. And Laz is really protecting this umpire. Both broadcasts were like, hey, he made the calls and he ejected the manager. Why is he getting this much protection? Laz is grabbing him.
This is like really fast. Yeah, usually the crew chief gets like you got to let it happen for a little bit, and then when the manager like refuses to leave, then you go, all right, here we go, and then you take over. Like that's how it is. But like it's kind of like in hockey when the guys drop the gloves, they're like, all right, let him go, and then when it starts to feel like the vibe shifts, then you break it up, right?
So what's going on here? While he's smiling, I know it's all pageantry, but this is what everyone does. Laz is like overly protecting him. Marmal's like, what are you doing? It's enough, bro. Stop it. We can't have this. And now we got hot mics again, which turn out to be pretty wild because Laz shit talks Newt Bar. Here, I'll just let it run. So he says, you're off too. And
he's like, you know what you're doing either, Laz.
And he's pointing out to the base path. So there must have been a play earlier in the game that Laz messed up. And then Laz takes offense to that.
Oh, I didn't know he said it twice. So he goes, he's hitting 2-10. He's hitting 2-10.
How about that, huh?
How about that, huh? So, have I ever been ejected? No, but I've been very close. Ramon almost threw me out once. You guys know that guy's name? Ramon almost threw me out once against the Braves. I was lighting him up, though. I was getting mad. And to be honest, I was wrong. Like, there was like 3 calls. I was wrong on 2 of them. So, and I'm always wrong. And then it got to the point where I was like, I'm always wrong. Why do I even get mad? Every time I go back, I'm wrong. I was getting Tomas Nido'd. He's very good at receiving. Anyway, so Laz then says, hey, you be quiet. He's hitting 210.
He's hitting
210. He's hitting 2-10. So remember, we just said the thing about saying F words, right? If you swear when you're asked to say the thing again, you're probably going to get tossed. But now we got Laz just throwing F-bombs out. And what does Laz get? Nothing. You can't throw Laz out, so he gets to just yell it. But no one else does. Nope. So here's the issue. Lars didn't do anything. Lars goes all 3, which he's right. And that's all. That if you just go all 3 and that's all your frustration, and then you just walk back to the dugout, which he did. And he's probably in the dugout like, what the just catching strays, just like, dude. What? So 1, attacking player. Okay. I had this has always been, and this was me as a player, and now I'm not a player, and I still feel this way a lot. The players are the only reason anyone's at the games. The only reason. It's the only one. No one's there to see you, Laz. No one gives a shit that you went to umpire school. Like, don't act like you didn't go to umpire school because you sucked at baseball. Like, what are we talking about right now? You're an umpire because you couldn't play. Why else would you be around this game this much? You probably loved it. You probably tried playing it. You couldn't. You became an umpire. So just leave that out of it. Leave performance of a world-class athlete out of your criticism, especially when the situation's over. You got to get your last barb in. Fuck that. That made me generally mad, especially from this fucking guy who cannot admit that he's wrong ever. Ever. Not one time I've ever heard a story about him being like, yeah, I effed up. Ever. Not one time. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. I would never say that if he didn't say that, but he said that. You don't get to criticize, especially if you're on the field. You got to have respect. There's a respect thing. If you want us to respect you, respect is earned. It's not just given for free because you wear a black shirt with a number on the sleeve. I don't care. You earn it because of how you act. If you act out of pocket, people are going to act out of pocket at you, and you deserve it. Because at the end of the day, there's no players in the field. There's no one to stand there and get the calls wrong. All right? Gab. Okay, anyway. I didn't like it. I'm not big on that. And to be honest, I'm usually pretty measured. But like this that's just unacceptable. And the reason they don't have to speak to media is for a good reason, by the way. Umpires don't have to speak media because they could be potentially if they know they have to speak to the media, that could create a kind of a snowball effect of bias, which I understand. So like the kind of impunity to that, like is supposed to allow you to be a little bit more objective, which makes sense. I agree. And then there's no other officiants have to talk to the media either, with the exception of like when Jim Joyce went and talked about the Galarraga situation, and he chose to do that because he's a classy guy. So, yeah, I saw that one ump admit that he missed the call that cost the pitcher a perfect game. Yeah, that was Jim Joyce, and he did that exactly the way you're supposed to do it. And guess what? Jim Joyce is going to be on the top of my list on respect for a long time for that. That was huge. Their union protects them too much, and now we're at the point where the umps do whatever they want without any scrutiny. No, they've always been like that. It's not the union's fault. So let's not start blaming unions. I respect that they need a union, or they would be paid nothing and they would have no rights. So they should have a union. Full stop. There has to be that recourse that needs to exist. Anyway, moving on from that, that was one of our fun news stories. Secondly, another one, and this is probably why our title of our stream is what it is. We had a lot of angry elves this week. A lot of angry elves. Holy moly. Okay. So, Tommy Pham slides in at home plate against the Brewers. I don't know what happened before this, but then there's some jawing, and we'll see. Now, I've seen a couple tweets like saying that Tommy Pham instigates, and clearly by this video, he does not instigate, at least from the slide. The slide, he looked genuinely surprised, but we'll see. Here, here's the
plate umpire. Edwin Jimenez has to hold back Pham. He's not backing down. He doesn't like that. We ain't taking that from the Brewers. I don't care.
Now, I don't know who's in the booth for the White Sox, but he is hot. So, let's break this down real quick. Yeah, Pham does the thing he does, right? He took the inner lane on the slide. Let's get the slide. We can get to the load. He just slid inside. He just picked a side to slide to. Because he didn't go in hard. He barely went in at all. Doesn't get up and look at him like I was trying to railroad you, or act tough. He's just like, shit. And then Contreras didn't like how he kind of went inside. But to me, it looked like he just picked a side and didn't read the play. He just picked a side. He was running from the inside the whole time. It's not like he veered. Contreras wasn't blocking. Oh no, 100%. No, it was completely clean. The play was completely fine, normal, even. Pham just picked the wrong side. He could have slid to the backside and had a better chance. He just chose inside because usually from righties the ball goes up the line anyway. So I don't know. It just, if you wanted to crush him, he could have. Exactly. And as soon as he's noticed that the ball beat him, he shut it down basically. He's like, all right, just do a pop-up slide, you're probably out. And then he was like, shit. That's what I saw. But then the waving and then the shit talking to Tommy is he can't let it go. And we're about to see why he can't let it go. So here you go. Let's get his reaction.
1-run ball game, close play at the plate. Actually, it wasn't even close. It was a shallow fly ball to left field. You would expect the left fielder to throw the base runner out on that play. But
So he admits wasn't even close. He
Prepared to finish it. There's a reason why, you know, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season, because I'm prepared to somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
Classic. Classic. So, I believe that's the story of he's been stabbed, which is crazy. I'll be honest. I'm terrified I'm terrified of Tommy Pham. I'm terrified of him. You know what? That's off. I understand why he's angry. Like, I don't know, getting punked on a play. Like, it sounds like he doesn't feel good about, or it sounds like he doesn't like agree with being sent there either. Like, he's just like, I don't know if I should have ran there. And so, like, I wouldn't have run. I'm older. I'm probably out. Right. And then he gets punked when he does something that he probably wouldn't have chosen to do himself. It's frustrating. So let's put that out there. But then we got to talk about how he's ready to throw down, which I don't doubt that. He once just slapped Jock Peterson. So, so I do love the incessant swearing on live TV. I love it. I'm terrified of him, but at the end of the day, I think this is a pretty straightforward thing. This is a totally normal bases or benches clearing thing where just someone is like talking trash because they won and the other side didn't, and he doesn't like to be punked very clearly. Most people don't like to be punked, but of the people who are going to do something about it, I would put Tommy right at the top of that list. I know there's a lot of like flexing going on, but he's like, he knows that as soon as he does that, he's freaking suspended for God knows how long, right? So, and that's that. So whose side are you on? Whose side are you on, Brewers fans / White Sox fans? I'm assuming we're going to be on the Brewers side more often than not. But you gotta love the response out of Tommy and the swearing. I love it. Just let it loose, man. They can bleep you. F it. F it. I love that. I love it. I love that. And that has been the news. It's been the news. Or at least the controversy news for the day. Love it. I love it. You guys in Discord? Is everyone in Discord? If you're in Discord, type 1. If you are in the Discord, type 1. Thank you. Get a little music going here. So that is our new segment for the week. Up next, a segment that we did last week, kind of. And now I'm going to make it official. Trev, thoughts on early struggles by Snell and Montgomery? I do actually have some thoughts on that, but real quickly, let me pop over here. Let me close that, and let me put it on question. So basically, what I'm doing is keeping a list of questions here on my document on the side, and then we're gonna do a segment in a little bit where I answer the questions like that. So Jason, hold on for me. Actually, I lied. I'm just gonna answer this one. We're gonna just do questions as we go. All right. Thoughts and struggles of Snell at Montgomery. So spring training is really important. It's hard to get your bearings and just go straight into a big league season by just facing a bunch of minor leaguers. Monty's an interesting one because he's hyper consistent when he does. So when he struggles, it goes for a while, and then when he starts to go well, it's just going to be basically the same outing over and over again, like 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 2 runs. He is a command pitcher. He doesn't strike a lot of guys out. So he has to have good command, and he hasn't had very good command this year. He's thrown a lot of stuff up that's leaking back over the middle of the plate. That outing against the Mariners, against the Twins, hold on, rebooting against the Mets. lot in the middle of the plate. And that has not been serving him very well. Snell, same thing. He is leaving a lot of stuff in the middle of the plate, and he hasn't quite found the command of his breaking ball. So he's getting hit, his fastball getting hit around, and he's not very sharp either. So it's going to take them a little bit of time, man. I think that this might be I would count on both those guys really, really, really picking things up in the second half. Sorry, I have a news routine on my Alexa, and it went off even though I turned it off. Did I forget my focus fuel? I actually didn't. Thoughts on the rumors of a Pete Alonso trade? So there are no rumors about a Pete Alonso trade. Like, none of that's based in any sort of reality. I guarantee it. I bet you it's all just projections, because trading Pete makes the most sense if you're not going to re-sign him. And the longer you wait, the more expensive he's probably going to be. But at this point, I think the Mets are just waiting to see, because if he like goes 225, right, and only hits like 20, he's going to hit a lot of homers, though. That's a problem. Maybe they think they can QO him and get another prospect for him after. They will QO. He'll get qualifying offered no matter what if he ends up on the Mets. But he's the biggest piece. He would be the biggest piece in the market, and it would be the most exciting thing, because they got to bring 4 prospects back for him minimum. There's no way. So that's why that's getting talked about a lot right now. But in terms of like the veracity of those or like the reality of that situation right now, like any of those conversations happening, nothing like that's going to happen till July, guys. He's going to be a deadline trade, and that is in 2 months. So, but of course, yeah, it's obvious. Could they get a pick in the free agency route? Only if they quit qualifying offer him, they'll get a supplemental pick, and he declines it, right? So that's what's going on there. Probably. Speaking of the Mets, should they blow it up and start over? Is it somewhat salvageable? Of course it's salvageable. I don't know why people think that this year was a competing year. They didn't do anything. Like, they're just going for 500. But again, like, the expectation just ran away again. Even though in February, the expectations were like, oh, for 500, I call that a W. Like, we just need to like hold pat, be in the conversation, and if we sneak into the playoffs, great. And now we're like, like, it's not even that much worse than it could have been, right? They didn't sign anybody. They need to, like, so it's just, but maybe there's too much baggage going on. Maybe the core is a little bit too used to the way things are right now. That's real. Sometimes that happens. It's New York expectations. Yeah, specifically Mets. We talked about this a lot. Yeah, that doesn't matter. You have the highest, yes, I know you have the highest payroll, and 2 of the guys that are being paid are not on the team. So you can't say that. Your payroll isn't paying the players that are on your team right now. It's a year. You have to have a stopgap year to get rid of that money. You can't just say, oh, we have the highest payroll now when 2 of the highest paid guys on the team aren't on the team. Like, that's an excuse. It's an excuse to be critical. It's still not like, just look at the players who are on the team. It doesn't matter how much money you're spending. You spent that money last year. It's just, but again, New York expectations. I get it. I'm just saying. The sky isn't falling. The sky isn't falling. It's not as bad as it feels. Yeah, you're paying a bunch of guys who aren't on the team. Like, this is blowing it up. It's blown up already. They blew it up last year. So, but yes, this stuff needs to settle. Some of the stuff's got to come off the books, which it does at the end of this year. And that'll make a big difference, I think. But I don't know, you can't just go into New York as a new GM, and you can't just go into New York as a manager and like just fix it in 2 months and then it's just fixed. Like, you just can't. It just takes time to put these things into play. And that's the hardest thing, because especially in New York, like, everyone needs it right now. You gotta do it right now, just like when they released Jorge Lopez. It's basically meaningless in the bottom third and middle. Yeah, it is. They're walking PR circus. I mean, but guys, just look how fast they jumped on that Jorge Lopez situation where it wasn't clear on what he said. Look how fast they jumped on it. And I'm a big fan. Like, guys, I love Steve Gelbs. He's a great guy. I love talking to him. But then they asked him again in English to clarify. Just make sure. It was almost like, hey, we can get confirmation here, and it doesn't really matter if it's, like, it'd be great if he doubled down, so then we can tweet it. Like, that was very clearly the goal. Not getting it right, just getting it out there. Getting it out there seemed like it was the goal. And that's a theme I see. Who gets to talk about the controversy the fastest? And then we go, oh, what's all this stuff around the mat? Like, why is it always like this? Because that's what happens every single time. Every time there's anything that could be remotely considered controversy, it's out before where it's barely verified. So I didn't like it. And also, I feel for Jorge because it's very clear he is just fist fighting himself in his head, and he seems very unhappy and very remorseful and very just overwhelmed, just very overwhelmed. I know what that feeling is like, and that sucks. So, you know, I hope he gets to go. I hope he find someone to talk to about it, because sometimes you just need to talk to somebody about shit, man. All right, let's move on. Moving on to the next segment. This is. Oh shoot! Hold on. Every time we're getting better. We're gonna get better at this. Don't worry. Don't you worry your little foreheads.
A word came up.
Shush. Shush your butt. Okay. This is Teaching Moments with Trevor. Oops. Hold on. Do it again. You guys ready to learn? It's the magic school bus. Ba-na-na-na. That's not how it goes. Okay. So this is a clip from FT, Foul Territory. My friends over there at Foul Territory. They sent me this. So I've had express written consent to use it. This is a nerd concept called the dead zone fastball. A lot of you guys might not know what that means. What we talk about when we say dead zone fastball. Dead zone fastball. Put that on screen. Dead zone fastball. Like it's an A24 title sequence. How's that sound? So this is Kratzy talking to our guy Haddad about the red dead zone fastball.
Me or AJ Brzezinski had never heard, or a phrase, dead zone fastball. Do you know what that is?
I do.
I had never heard of it until yesterday.
Those are the ones you used to hit, bud.
Those are the ones you used to hit,
so
bud.
Good, so good. Wait, I can add context too, because Trevor May is part of our roster, and he talks about it quite a bit. And I was texting with him this morning because I brought it up to Kyle Gibson. He knew what I was talking about. He just didn't use that.
Hey, Kipness, stop looking at your phone, dude. Kip, stop looking at your phone, dude. We can see you. Kip, we can see you, bud.
Most dudes know what it is.
Kip,
it's newer term.
Kip.
So
Kip,
that's the part that
Kip, you're on TV, Kip.
But I like the term dead zone fastball.
Oh, I'm on the screen. He just realized.
I don't know how deep you guys got on it though, but
Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't know about that before, so that was a live reaction to Kipness. Just, I don't know, texting while he's on screen. Maybe that's cool. I don't know.
Of it, right? Like Paul Sewald technically throws a dead zone fastball from a induced vertical break and horizontal break standpoint, but his slot makes it unique, right? So you have to take arm slot and release point into account when talking about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been introduced to dead zone fastballs, okay? Now, they don't really explain it in the video. Like, he doesn't give a breakdown because the assumption is everyone involved knows what it is, but I'm going to give you I'm going to try something new here. And I'm going to try to go with the Pirate software situation. And I'm going to give you a diagram on what a dead zone fastball means. All right? All right, guys. This is what we mean by dead zone fastball. Dead zone fastballs are dead zone fastball. Dead zone fastball is a fastball that isn't elite in horizontal or vertical movement. Meaning, it reacts to gravity the way that hitters are trained naturally to assume that it's going to. So it's easy to hit, basically. It doesn't ride and it doesn't sink. It's somewhere in between, okay? What that looks like, here is a movement plot. I know. We're going to get this. I know, okay? So this is horizontal. This is hard as hell. I should get a little, and this is vert, okay? So let's say this is 20 vert, which is good, and this is 20 horizontal. That's as good, okay? 20 would be elite for either one, which is nice that it's the same number. I love that. So like say a guy with high vert, and say this is like 6, and so if they're 20 and this is their cluster, that looks like something bad. Hold on, we're gonna. So if all your pitches are here, that's elite ride, right? All your pitches are here, low vert, say it's like 2, and then 20 horizontal. That would be sink / run. You want to be here or here. If you're here at like 14, that is dead zone. So basically, when people are designing their freaking fastballs, they're trying to avoid being in this area. You're trying to get up here or here, and you're trying to find a pitch that can get you in one or the other, and then you try to use your off-speed pitches off of it. So that when we talk about dead zone, we're talking about those pitches that are in between those two areas. All right? Does that make sense? Good. I think I can make another one if I do this. Maybe that. How do I make another page? I should freaking look this up before the stream starts. Actually, we'll just do this. We'll just duplicate the tab. Free whiteboard. All right. Does that make sense? Does everyone have it? Sick. Okay. So the second thing I would like to teach you during today's teaching moment. Hold on, I'll do it one more time. You guys want to learn? And we talk about it. We talked about it last week, but I didn't explain it well. And this also was just brought up in that video. So he said, Paul Sewald has a dead zone fastball metrically. So basically, metrically means his stuff tells him he's a dead zone fastball. But you can compensate with that through deception. So here is what deception and stuff and the difference is, and how you can make a dead zone fastball either work or not work. Okay? A great example is Fujinami. He has very little deception and a dead zone fastball, but he makes up with it with pure velocity, with pure power, right? So he can blow 103 by people. But if he threw 94, he would have a really, really bad time. Okay, so here's the difference between deception and stuff. Deception versus stuff. Move this this over, make it big for you guys. So here's the difference. So this is a mound, right? And this is a pitcher. It's going to be me if you could tell. Those are my feet. So, I don't know if you can tell. But that's me. Hold on. There's certain things about the drawing that make it me, okay? So say this is the ball. Okay? So, this is the pitch, right? Deception happens on that side of this line. That is a terrible line. 1 second. That's deception. That's stuff. So, after the ball is delivered, once the ball leaves your hand, how it moves is considered stuff. And everything before you release the ball is considered deception. So think about it that way. Once it leaves your hand, we're talking about stuff. So if your stuff is a dead zone fastball, you have to have something elite in your deception to make it good. For example, Paul Sewald has a low arm angle and a sideways spin. So the ball spins out of his hand weird. So he's really low, but his hand is actually upwards, more like this. So he backspins the ball pretty well. So he drops really low like he's a side armor, steps at a righty. So guys assume it's going to like run. That's what your brain tells you it's going to do. And instead it stays true or cuts a little bit. So basically what they see before he releases the ball is not informing how the ball moves very well. And that makes him effective. That, and he has good command and a good slider. A slider that he has good command of, and everything moves away from a righty. So he's a bite armor. Did I draw? No. Oh. Let's take that. Hey, grow up. Thank you. Grow up. Y'all are children. Anywho. So, if you're wondering, if you go look at a guy, for example, and you see things like, hey, this guy's got a dead zone fastball, how is it effective? We can actually do a really quick lookup on this. Actually, I kind of want to do that. So let's look up Sewald real quick, and I'll show you what I mean on Savant. Now he hasn't thrown a ton this year, but he throws a four-seam fastball that spins kind of weird and a sweeper. Okay, these are his two pitches. We go look at his movement. His four-seam is average. Honestly, that is a dead zone fastball. Don't pay attention to this because it compares it to other people who throw 92. So that's kind of misleading, but 18 inches of drop's a lot. Oh, that was last year. This year, here's this year. And it runs too much too. You don't want this. This is the equivalent of like a 14, 13, right? You're like, oh, then how does he do it? This is how he does it. Spin-based movement by pitch type. He throws like a side armor. So this is how the ball spins, and this is how it's released. So he's releasing here that makes it look like it's going to run more. It actually spins like it's going to run even more, and then it doesn't. So he gets the horizontal approach angle and like a low release. So basically, when you're throwing, you're creating an angle towards the plate from some direction where you're releasing from the rubber, right? That's called approach angle. You can do it. It tells you at what angle up and down, at what angle side to side. So vertical and horizontal approach angle. Approach angles are determined by deception. Actual movement is determined by stuff. Will that deception for Sewald eventually be figured out? It's one of those things like the guy, it's one of those things where a guy who, the more and more you face him, the better you'll be at making that distinction in your head. But he also still has really good command, and he's a reliever. So like the chances of you facing him enough for you to start to get used to him is low. So it's funky enough to where there's no one else kind of like him. So when there's no one else in the league like him, you have to depend on facing him. And if you can't face him enough, it's gonna be hard to get to. But in my opinion, having really good stuff, and you can learn deception, it's harder to learn stuff in terms of, because velo is part of stuff. So you can't, it's harder to learn velo. That's probably the hardest thing to do is build velo. Can you explain why Chris Sale is all that but got raked off by the A's? Sometimes it just happens, Spectre. Sometimes guys get raked. It's probably command mostly. I saw some of the stuff from Sale. There was a lot in the middle of the zone. So at the end of the day, they're big leaguers, and the difference between getting raked and not getting raked is like sometimes like 3 or 4 hits, and sometimes 2 of those hits are kind of like luck based, where they drop in and it seems much worse than it is. But yeah, he wasn't using the edges of the zone very well. It was like it was out of the zone, or it was in the middle of the half. That makes sense. So that's Seawall. That's how that works. If that makes sense, boys and girls. That was our teaching moment. And now I want to do one other thing in our teaching segment, and that is, I don't know if we're going to... $200 IQ. So we had some really smart plays. I want to talk about them a little bit. We'll do this really quick, though. We'll hop in and out because we are running a little bit behind our schedule. Many of you may have seen my... oh, that's wrong again. Many of you may have seen the short I put out this last week about Rizzo and stepping up in the box to take away an off-speed pitch with 2 strikes. Being limited. I try to watch 1 game a day, but I would say 4 days a week I'm watching a couple of the games. Whatever's on when I'm working and stuff. I try to have it on the TV all the time. All right. So Rizzo tries to take away off-speed pitches with 2 strikes by stepping up in the box. He's done this for a long time. Zedders, thank you for your 34 months, by the way, 20 minutes ago. Cranky T, B Lang, thank you guys for your resubs as well. I'm sorry I missed them. DJ 1DA Bread, resubscribing for 3 months. Thank you so freaking much. Did we just get a like a tip? Did that just happen? I don't see it showing up. You tell me if that happened. Do you bet on baseball now you're retired? No, I don't bet on anything really. Would dope you get betting advice? Oh, you don't want betting advice from me, man. But you feel free to take any of the information I give you to inform better decisions on fantasy baseball or otherwise. But I am not here to give you betting advice. That is not my intention. That is not my expertise. Thank you very much. So anyway, he steps up in the box. He takes away 2 strikes. And I posted the video, and it was called, Is This Man the Smartest Man in Baseball? And then this happened on, what day was it? Wait, what? This was from 2 years ago? Oh, he's done this before. Oh no, okay, he did this against the Angels too. So this is the older one. Anyway, this illustrates my point anyways.
For Big Stanton.
Stanton grounds out.
To shortstop and hit the runner, Rizzo.
So Rizzo's done this in the past. He did this against the Angels and Neto, right? Where he runs to third base like full bore, doesn't slow down, but just tries to get in the way of the ball to break up the double play, because that is a tailor-made double play right there. So with less than 2 outs, he's just taking the 1 out to preserve the first and second for the next guy hitting, and giving the guy hitting a hit. That is smart as hell. He recently just did it again against the Angels. I don't know why I don't have that clip. 200 IQ, Anthony Rizzo, Bravo, brother. Bravo. If you guys ever want to understand or know or are wondering how to play baseball at a high level and the gamesmanship that we feel like is going away in the big leagues, because it's not going away. It's just changing, changing everywhere. But that's the type of thing that a veteran player brings, like that kind of insight. Like, you can do this, guys. This is a way to maximize, to avoid a rally killer and keep the inning going. Do this. And, you know, he steps in the box. Sometimes he gets blown away with a homer or gets blown away with a fastball. But he's thinking about how he can just kind of get that one extra thing and extend an inning or something, which could be huge because baseball is all about that. He just puts his body in front of the ball. But he doesn't do it unless it's going to break up a double play. He only does it in the situations where it's going to be beneficial. Would you ever hop on an episode with the Just Baseball Show, guys? Of course, I'll hop on an episode with anybody. I don't care. I'm in. So, hats off. That's one of our 200 IQ plays from this past week. We also have, that's another. This is from Padres dugout. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if I can make this big. For some reason, I can't make it big. So we're gonna watch it. But holy sh! Let's let it replay again. Man, this is annoying. So if you watch here closely, you can see the catcher dropped his glove for Musgrove to pick. Now, Musgrove's a really good pickoff move, and they got Glaber. Glaber tends to take chances. So watch here. You can see it closer. Oh, maybe you can't see it closer. You watch the catcher drops his glove. He throws over, and they get him. Control scroll wheel? Maybe. Oh, does that make it look better? Yeah, it does. You're right. Thank you. Let's watch it here. You watch him. Oh, I don't know why it doesn't continue. Drops the glove, throws it over. So very common in baseball. But Musgrove's a big guy on, because of the lack of pickoff moves, this is becoming more and more popular. This was more popular like in the late 2000s and 2010s. It went away a little bit, and now that we have the pickoff limits, guys are getting a little bit more aggressive, which allows, and the catcher has such a great view. So if you can come up with a system like this, just dropping your glove real quick and throwing them out over there, great way to grab. And it's Higgy, right? Higgy is a high baseball IQ, and Musgrove's been around for a long time. Really good athlete, really good pickoff move. So they came up with this beforehand. They planned for it, and maybe Glaber was their target because Glaber sometimes gets a little excited and gets out there a little bit too far. He does. He gets picked off a little more than he probably should. Another great play. Another John Boy breakdown. This is in the College World Series. We got Wilson over here. He's got his third base coach coming up, and he's telling a pitcher about a pitcher's pattern. Let's have John Boy tell us about it.
Third base coach gets in Wilson's ear, and he's like, "Hey, gonna need you to watch something." As soon as he gets the sign, he looks down.
This kid's big on trying to be badass.
3 Mississippi. Rocks his foot for 3 seconds, then looks back up for the pitch. Look, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
He does the same thing every time.
And then up. Gets the sign, looks down. He's in his own element. Everyone's screaming. Everyone up. Game over. Doesn't even know what's happening. Wilson screaming in his face. Steals home to win the game. Incredible. We had this cool angle shot from the stands where you can see. Look at this. Come on, pitch.
So, do you guys think he's embarrassed? Because I am. This is big. This is why you don't throw out of the windup. Right? After high school, you stop throwing out of the windup. Most guys do. Some guys still throw out of the windup in the big leagues, but I stopped throwing out of the windup because I just didn't want this to happen. And when you're throwing out a stretch, man, you got to pay attention. But I think this guy was just too big on like throwing hard, right? That's what it comes down to. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you give up a stolen base to end a game. The guy's nasty. But you got to pay attention. So another learning moment. Hey, runners, freaking do it if you can, dude. If you can pull this off, do it. Big fan of that. Big fan of that. Big fan. And our last teaching moment. Now, I forgot to pull this up, so give me 1 second. This was Bryce Miller. Go to game log.
Was on June 2nd.
This is Louis Castillo. Was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. I don't know why there's only 3 pitches here. Oh, these are all the... Okay, hold on. Pull these up.
There's shortstop Zach Neto.
I don't know what AB it was. Did he pause here? No, he didn't.
He strikes him out with the split finger.
I think it's here.
Come to players who just...
Yeah, okay. So, our third teaching moment, Bryce Miller. Abusing Zach Neto and his massive leg kick. Now, this is interesting because this is a conversation we had last year. I'm like, dude, that kid is going to get abused because his leg kick is so big and then he has to time it. Like, his timing is so necessary for him to get the head out. If you have any velocity, if you can just pause on him, he's dead. He's dead. And I was like, just pause on him. So I only faced Neto once and there was someone on base. So I couldn't do the pause. But if I got him with nobody on base, I probably would have did this too. But just check this out. Bryce Miller, this was very clearly on purpose, but this is the second at bat of the day.
Players who just
pause.
Did not get much time to groom in the minors.
So he had to leg kick twice. And look at him, he's like, oh, well, that sucked.
Before coming up for the big leagues. Player from that year's draft to make the...
Actually, I need to mute this. Because we're going to get Gypsy Aid. And then here's the second pitch. Pauses again. He gets him again. He's all, look at him. He's like, dang, dude. He's all befuddled. He's discombobbled. It's 1-2. He has no idea what's about to happen. He's like, is he going to pause on me again? He goes. And then he just goes. Ball. All right. Didn't pause on him. He's like, you know what? Let's just go again. And he gets messed up. But watch the leg kick here. Watch the leg kick on this one. So what Neto does is he tries to not do the leg kick with 2 strikes. I don't know why he does it with less than that. And he started it too early again. Oh, wait, late. He was late starting it. So watch how late he starts his leg kick. When he's already separated his hands, he's used to being up right here. And he thought about it. And he was just behind. Like, it's almost like he went up and was like, oh, wait, no, I'm doing my short kick. And just got blown away by a sinker. .200 IQ, Bryce Miller. 200 IQ. And that has been 200 IQ, guys. I love that. M-Dub, 63 months. Let's get some Team A Braves in the chat. Let's get some Team A baseballs in the chat. Let's get some Team A, dude. 200 IQ, dude. 200 IQ. Sinkers 95. Very nasty. Very nasty. A lot of fun. So those were my smart guys for the week. Very smart. Much wow. Incredible. Incredible gaming experience. All right. Let's do some questions for the next 15. So I'm going to build this in, right? Also, guys, for the next 2 minutes, post any questions in the chat you would like to discuss, and we will talk about them. Because I'm going to use my mid-show bathroom break for a 2-minute intermission. And we will be right back. Throw some comments in the chat. I'll get back and we will talk about these comments, all right? Give me 90 seconds. 90 seconds. We'll be right back, chat. Love you guys. 90 seconds. Wasn't even gone for 90 seconds. Look at me. Look at me. Wasn't even gone for 90 seconds. Ooh, we got a lot of good stuff. We got a lot of good, really good stuff in here. Let's get into the Q&A, dude. Part of our show. We got 20 minutes of this. Also, really quickly, if you could do me a favor, everyone on YouTube, and give me a like, and everyone on Twitch, can you really quickly go over to YouTube to the live stream and give the old thumbs up and then come on back? Thank you so much. That would be very helpful, and I would really, really very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to do questions from the chat. And while you guys continue to add those things in, let's do our question of the week. I don't have a sound effect for this, so we're going to be like, question of the week. Da-da-da-da-da. Hold on, I got to turn it. Hold on, we're going to. Question of the week. Smile. Clip that. All right. I'm going to pull up the Discord. You guys, we have in the Discord channel, we have this, and we're going to get into your questions in just a moment. But really quickly, I want to try this. In our Discord channel, guys, we have in the baseball section, we have the forum. And then every single week on basically after the show, I will be asking you guys a question, and we will go and look at some of your answers. This week, who has been your most surprising success in the league this year? We got Jorge Mateo. We got Jerks and Profar. Very pleased with Mark Vientos. I think that you were correct there. Pitching side of things, Cole Irvin. Last year with home runs, getting hit around a bit, but did a lot of work in refining his arsenal. Still not great according to Sub Plus models. Yeah, I don't think he's going to ever be great according to that model. He doesn't throw super hard. That's a big part of it. Luis Heel. At the time of this posting, he was at a 2.11 ERA and a 1.01 WHIP. I think the most important part of him, though, is the fact that he throws at 99. Mason Miller. I think he's a big pleasant surprise across. Shota Imanaga, and I will say, guys, I agree with the Shota Imanaga. Good job, Charbon. You are my pick of the week for that. Shota Imanaga has been an incredible pickup. I think that there was a lot of undeserved skepticism with him, frankly, because his statistics in Japan were very projectable to the major leagues. Just he didn't throw as hard, and that's the thing everyone's worried about. Like, if you don't throw hard, you're gonna suck, right? Mark Vientos, I would say, is a nice positive. And to be honest, a Mets fan coming in here and saying, "Hey, I've liked what I've seen from Mark Vientos," is awesome, frankly. He reminds you of Kawa, not quite Kawasaki, but like he's fun. He's fun to root for. I like the Gavin Stone call too. He's been breakout. Gavin Stone has been breakout. It's been really interesting too because he is more of like a dip, dive, and dodge him type guy. Throws a bunch of different pitches. He's not a huge ride guy or strikeout guy, which is usually what the Dodgers go for. But he's a pitcher. He's got pitchability, and he's done really well. And they got a good defense. They got a good team. They score a lot of runs. So he's in an ideal place to play there. I think that Gavin Stone has surprised me as well. Though I'd say my number one is definitely going to be Shota Imanaga, just because I love him. I think he's great. He's one of those guys. He's become one of my favorite players. The Pirates starting rotation, yeah, I don't know about that. Mostly because we knew Jared Jones, we knew Skeens were going to be crazy good. I'm pretty high on Mitch Keller, still am. I think that he has got his best year still ahead of him. I don't know why he hasn't quite figured it out yet, but as a team, definitely Athletics, they have evened out a little bit more. But good. But pretty good. Jared Jones. Yeah, I thought he was going to be good, man, the whole time. So it's not really surprising. I'd say Kansas City as a whole, 100%, 100p. Seth Lugo is probably a guy who's really, really surprising. Davis Snyder and Dan Jensen have been the best spark of Blue Jays offense so far. Davis Snyder being the spark for the offense isn't surprising because of how he broke out last year. Jordan Westberg is actually a bigger player for the Orioles than people would have probably anticipated him being. It was up to whether or not Jackson Holiday was going to make the team instead of Jordan Westberg, and I think he's proven that they made the right decision. Profar and offense is raking. We've talked about that. And Heel. Yeah, you guys are sick. You guys know ball. So shout out to all you guys. But I'm going to go with Charbon for my best one of the week. All right. Let's get some of your questions in here too. Let's add to this conversation. Let me pull up my face. I saw it. Why can't the Braves get their hitting going like last year? We did a great breakdown of this on last week's Rates and Barrels episode. I can go break it down for you, Cole. But I would prefer you to get the take with Eno's side of things, because he did a really good statistical analysis of it, like how they're being pitched and what they're struggling with a little bit, and then how just a couple of the guys in the lineup just not really getting going. Austin Riley with some nagging injuries and stuff have also brought that average down, but they're actually better than you think they are. It's just the timing at this point. So go check that out. It's on Rates and Barrels YouTube at Rates and Barrels. Just check it out after the show. Thank you so much. As you get older, what scares you more? The thought of jumping off a tailgate of a pickup to the ground or playing catch? My elbow hurts just looking at a baseball. Definitely jumping off a tailgate, because you should hear what the sounds my knees make when I walk upstairs. It's bad. MLB Combine, good or bad? I think having an MLB Combine it can't hurt. It can't hurt. But the way baseball is, it's not so like athleticism based, especially for pitchers. So there's really no need. Maybe for like position players that are trying to get seen. I think it's just for fun. It's mostly for fun though. It's a good way for them to go get seen, but it's also a good way for fans to get acquainted with players that aren't even drafted yet. I think that's the value it has, and if that's the value, I think it's great. Are the Yankees or the Phillies the best team in baseball? Well, we're about to do our Power 5 and our Mayday 5, so hold on for that answer. I will give you that right after this. What makes for the best coach? An ability to adjust to whatever the league is doing right now. So if you're a pitching coach, you got to know what the hitting meta is and then adjust accordingly. And knowing each player individually and what they respond to best. Some guys are like, just tell me what to do and keep it simple and don't use any big words. Some guys are like me and they're like, can you give me a math equation, please? Can you give me numbers? I'm a big nerd and I respond to that. The coaches that are able to connect with the most guys in the most different ways are the best coaches in the league, in my opinion. And I love it. I love it so much. Did you ever get hurt on a comeback pitch at AU? I got pulled out of a game in my first start in Seattle. Go check that out. Kyle Seager hit a ball off my elbow. We got an x-ray. I took a day off throwing, and then I was fine for my next start. So it was completely fine. Does that grand slam by Seiya Suzuki redeem him for both himself and the coaches after the error? If they're, I mean, redemption is in the eye of the beholder in a lot of ways, but I'd say, yeah, I felt like he was 1,000%. Redemption! You can make up for it if you can undo a mistake later. Then I'd say you got to take that redemption when you can get it. Are you more of a waffle or pancake man? Waffle. I think waffles are, they're more portable. So like I grew up, I would like toast a waffle, throw some jam on it, and like fold it, and then take it when I drove to school. So it was valuable for me that way. So I just learned to like waffles a lot. But if I'm honest, I love them both. They're so good. I love the Blue Jays question. Doesn't that suck for me? This year, it definitely does. Thoughts on Jose Ramirez saying he's better than Bonds? I love J-Ram more than any. I love him so much. I love everything he does. It's hilarious. And he's always been like this. Remember when he was like, hey, Freddie Freeman, good year. I'm better. But good year. Like, you good hitter. I'm better. But you good hitter. Like, he's just confident. He's funny. It's a dry humor, man. He's joking. He's kind of joking. It's like a humble brag situation where you're like, haha, he's joking. He really does believe that, but he's joking. He's joking. And to be honest, their stats were way closer through this point in their career. So let's just see if he, let's see if he goes the same rate as Barry. Let's see if he tries to, maybe he tries the same stuff as Barry, and then possibly they have even more. Okay. We'll see. Thoughts on the Strawberry number retirement? I think that Steve Cohen is doing a good job and doing right by fans in the Mets fandom. I don't understand why they hadn't done this before. It was so corporate before. You can tell he's a fan. The least you can do is recognize people that deserve to be recognized. And honestly, turning the apple into a strawberry for that day Chef's kiss, bro. That was sick. Will Trevor Bauer get picked up? I don't know. It depends if teams decide they want to deal with the PR or not. Right? I will say this. The more there's a public, like, every time he comes out and says, see, like, I'm innocent, like, just sign me. Why, like, tries to rile people up to get on his side for that, the lower the chances. Just because there's more people mad at them for not signing him, so it's just safer to just not do it. It's kind of self-defeating. I don't think that's going to work the way it works. Now, I'm not saying he's done that, but there's been a couple things. And that's just the way it is. I would say it's not a very high chance this year. Do you think if Skeens is on his game, he can get through the Dodger lineup with no problem? 1,000%. I think that there's a lot of teams that if there's a lot of players that if a pitcher's on his game, it doesn't matter who's in the box. If a pitcher is dialed in, like pitching the best they can pitch, they have the advantage against any team in the major leagues. Pitchers have the inherent advantage. What do you think of the Royals after the series with the Padres? Upcoming series? Yeah, they've scuffled a little bit. They came down to earth a little bit. So yeah, I think this is a big series now because they got to get going and they got to go going against the best team in their division to hang around. Yeah, then the Twins are coming up. They're coming, man. Your thoughts on Ryan Presley this year? There is a distinct difference between closing and being in the 7th, 8th inning, man. He's 35 now. He's got a lot of innings, and having to change your mindset that way is tough. And there's got to be a commitment there, and I don't know if he's quite found that yet. But it's funny, metrically and stuff, there's not a lot different. He's down a little bit in velo, but his all his stuff's pretty nasty still, and he's not walking a bunch of guys. He's just giving up more hits, so that tells me he's going to even out. Kind of like how Brian Abreu has. Like, he's still kind of got a couple of those outings, but Brian Abreu's stuff's too good, right? So the more strikes he throws, the more often he's going to be successful. So it's just a matter of time. I think Presley's going to slowly move that way as well. Same thing with Hader. Like, Hader's thrown really well lately. What do you think the biggest factor in the decline of the AL West? It's literally just the Astros have severely underperformed, and the Rangers did literally nothing in the offseason because they won the World Series. They're not trying to win 2 in a row. What's the point? What's the point of trying to go back to back? What is the point? It's very hard to do. You don't have to do it. 12 teams make the playoffs. I know they're not okay with, like, missing the playoffs, but they might be okay with missing, like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not. Who's on your Cy Young top 5 so far? MVP so far? Frick, dude. I would say AL MVP is either Judge or Soto. Probably Soto, but Judge is right behind him. And on the other side, I really like Ellie. I'm not sure in the NL right now. Pitching wise though, I would say it's Ranger and Lugo at the moment. Still, even with Rangers' last start, I think they're probably at the front end of that. But there's a lot of people hanging around, right? Like, especially on the I would say Logan Gilbert's in that conversation. I would say honestly Bryce Miller probably in the conversation. Who else? A lot of guys throwing really well, man. Tariq Skubal, yeah, he's probably top 2. I think it's probably between Lugo and Skubal at the moment. Yeah, those are good. Those are good calls. Since you were recently on the Mets, what do you think the issue is to continue mediocrity? It's the feeling the sky's falling every time there's a three-game losing streak, and there has been not quite an influx of prospects come up. There's been no core come up yet that's young and homegrown. That's part of it as well. So they're missing that a little bit. But I think Alvarez can be the catalyst for that. I think Jose Buto is a part of that. Vientos looks like he's doing it. Hopefully Beatty gets going a little bit and they can get going. They got the talent, man. But again, like I said, just look at the Jose Lopez thing, look at the Rat Raccoon thing, look at every little tiny controversy that there ever is. It's 10 times what it should be every single time, and it's not helped by the way that it's portrayed. It's always a massive issue before anyone decides it's a massive issue, and then it just becomes one. Because it's more important to I think continue to have that identity than it is to win. Is the fans' feelings affecting the players? Yeah, of course. Of course the players feel that. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Guys, I don't know how you wouldn't feel that. So, it is, but it like again, does anything but it's also not their fault either. It's like it's no one specific's fault. It's just when something bad happens, the immediate reaction is, "Oh, here we go." And if you do that in your personal life, how do things usually go? In your experience, if you go, "Oh, not again," and you immediately assume a bunch of bad stuff's about to happen, what is that a good thing or does that ever work out? No. So just like extrapolate that. Right? Have you seen Cosmic Baseball? Yes. I don't know how anyone hits that shit. Yeah. So like, let's put it this way. If you're going through your own frustration, right? So if you're frustrated, you're like, man, I can't, like, dude, we got a center on. I got to take it back to let's take a step back. Let's figure this thing out. Let's get going again. Let's get out of the slump. But then all you're hearing is, hey, why do you suck? Hey, why do you suck? Hey, you need to figure it out because I buy ice cream. Hey, what's wrong? Hey, what's wrong with you? 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 All day, every day, all the time, every day, all the time, every day, all the time, every day, all the time. That's all anyone ever says. And then before you know it, you're still struggling. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't figure it out. Give me a second. And then you go out, and then you're going out, and then you get out again, and then suddenly people are like, oh, you suck. And you're like, I know that. I'm trying to see how this kind of like, it's just hard. It's harder. And it's that to some level everywhere, right? But there, it's very other places you can like shut it out a little bit easier. New York, you can't. You can't shut it out. You can't. You're gonna get asked. You're gonna ask until you fix it. You're gonna get asked. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle, and it's nobody's fault. Like it's like no one's in particular's fault. I don't think anyone can change it. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know. I think it's just like what's gonna happen is that there's going to come along a team that is immune to it, and they win, and then the stigma, and then you can't make the case that the team doesn't win anymore, and so it's like you brute force, you get rid of the mindset with brute force. That's how you do it. Does that make sense? And that's what's going to happen. It's a thing until it's not. Look at Jalen Brunson with the Knicks, right? Like the Knicks have been cursed. The Knicks are cursed. It's the same thing. They have the same issue, and he's just like, I don't care, and then he just like goes off, and he just like became the guy, and he just doesn't care. It's like how DeGrom was so good in New York. He just didn't care. It didn't bother him. And so he found a way. And it just takes a special type guy. It just does. This is the way it is. You have to know you're the best. Yeah, you have to be a little delusional. Yeah, you got to be a little delusional. Need to be I just think that asking like hundreds of thousands of people to have like more tempered reactions to things isn't a winning situation, and it's also like not fair to ask that either. Like why would you ever ask fans to change? Like they don't have to change, but it just all depends on what you want, right? But you also got to understand like that it has an effect. It just does. Whether or not you think it should or not is kind of irrelevant. It just does. That's all I'm saying. That's it. It's hard. It's hard enough. Anywho, all right. Thank you for all your questions. You guys are freaking awesome. We have some more questions, but let's get into the Power 5. Let's get into our Power 5 and our Mayday 5. These are the top 5 teams. Oh, this is just playing, huh? Wait, where'd it go? Oh no. Where is it? That's bad. Okay. Let's just do a new one. I'm gonna give you your Power 5. These are the top 5 teams in the major leagues, in my opinion, right now. It's my opinion. Don't yell at me. It's my opinion. It's just my opinion. Don't yell at me. It's just my opinion. Don't yell at me. Thank you very much. In 5th place, and I will explain these things as I go in the breakdown. In 5th place, we have your Milwaukee Brewers. 5th place, guys. Congratulations, Brewers. You done did it. They've won, I believe, 5 in a row. They're taking care of the teams they need to take care of. And I believe they are, 39? We can check it right now. Let's get the most recent game up. What are we doing here? Where'd the Brewers go? Where are they at? Where's the Bro Crow? They won 6-3. They're currently 36-23, number 1 in the league, or in the NL Central, which has fallen off quite a bit. They're the only team over 500, and they have a nice little comfy lead in that division. They played well as of recently. I believe they are 7-3. Actually, let's just do this. We'll pull up the standings for now, and so we can just check it every single time we need to. Cool. All right. Number 4 in this week's Power 5, we have the Cleveland Guardians. They are down 1 spot from last week, but that is not by any fault of their own. 39-20 on the year, though they did lose yesterday. It's this run differential that's pretty crazy to me. They've allowed the least runs in their division, which is very consistent, and they're 7-3, which is just as good as everyone, with the exception of the Minnesota Twins in their own division. But they're playing really well. Now, this battle is something. Oh, sorry. Let me scroll down. This battle is something I'm very excited to continue to watch for the rest of this year. Cleveland versus Kansas City. Who would have thought? You know what I mean? Who would have thought? So that is your Cleveland Guardians with their wind-aided homers and all. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. That's a real thing. Number 3 on this week's Power 5. The Baltimore Orioles. Now, I love the Baltimore Orioles. I'm a little bit biased. They're young. They're dynamic. They have Corbin Burns. And they have good pitching. They got good hitting. They got good defense. They have Gold Glove in center field. They have power. They can run the bases. They got speed. They got everything. They got everything. Baltimore Orioles. Let's check them out. And they're sorry, these are neither one of the right things. Baltimore Orioles are 37-20, 8-2 in their last 10, even though they dropped one yesterday, and plus 74 in the run differential. Only allowed 213 runs this year. And they're pretty consistent on both and very good against over 500 teams. 18-7 versus over 500 teams. And they got the dong bong. The fact that they have normalized a water beer bong and got Kyle Gibson to do it boggles my mind. Bottles my mind. All right? Number 2. On this week's Power 5, we have the Philadelphia Phillies. Boggled. Mind. Consider it. Philadelphia Phillies. Let's go look at how they've done recently. 41-19. Though they are 5-5 in their last 10. They had a 5-game winning streak until yesterday, so they've actually won 5 of the last 6, and they have a 100-run differential, only allowed 214 total runs, and they are dominating at home. So they're only 4-2 versus team over 500. So expect this is going to be really interesting to see how these guys do for the rest of the year. Atlanta just needs to hang around. I feel like this is going to be much closer than it has been so far, and expect this number to start to go up really fast. But I got the Philadelphia Phillies right now as your second best team in the major leagues, which leaves us with the last one. Who do you guys think it's gonna be? Your number one spot this week's power rankings. Who do we think it's gonna be? The Yankees. They're just really freaking good, man. It's gross. It's disgusting. No Garrett Cole. Luis Heel has absolutely been incredible this year. I think he is one of the biggest reasons. Stroman has done exactly what I thought Stroman would do. Alex Verdugo has contributed exactly the way that I thought Alex Verdugo would contribute. And Soto and Judge together are the two MVP candidates, and I think they have the best 1-2 in the major leagues, including Shohei and Mookie, including Shohei and Freddie, including Mookie and Freddie. Back to back. The Yankees. Now, we got to do some honorable mentions because when it comes to your top 5, there's some guys that can be kind of interchangeable. We'll go with the Dodgers. Who? Stay with me here. The Dodgers are just on the outside of the top 5 right now. That is because 38-23. They're 5-5 in the last 80 plus 86. Just missed it, but this is just about middle of the pack for everyone. And they aren't as good on the road for some reason. And they're not as good against teams over 500. And they're kind of in that same boat as the Phillies. They haven't played a lot of teams over 500. So they went and they took care of the Mets when the Mets were just crazy struggling. So they are just outside of that for me. I think those other teams, though, if they played a playoff series right now, I don't feel any reason to think the Dodgers would be a huge favorite in any of those divisions. So the Dodgers are on the outside. And then another honorable mention, the Mariners. And that's because they have the 28th ranked offense in the major leagues, and they need to figure that out. Though they are winning the division, and they have a 4-game lead, no one is over 500 besides them. And but they did take care of business this weekend. But they're only +7 in differential, and they have the best pitching staff in the major leagues. So they have one of the worst hitting teams in the league, and they're the best pitching teams in the league. Seattle Mariners just on the outside looking in. All right. Now let's do oh wait, I can't copy and paste. Forgot. I don't know why you can't copy and paste over here. We're gonna do our Mayday 5. That is the bottom 5. Of course, I named it after me because look at my face. Mayday 5. These are the bottom 5 in the league at the moment. And let's see. We'll probably create a template here. We'll do that in the future. At number 26 in the league, we have the Mets. And that is, they've been really struggling lately. The bullpen they blew another game yesterday. That said, all those guys on my team are my buddies. I live with Jake Diekman. Ottavino's freaking one of my best buddies, or one of my favorite teammates. But it's just not going good. It's not going good. They were on the outside looking in last week. They have snuck in. They're too good to be in the bottom 5. They have too much talent on paper to be in the bottom 5, but they are, unfortunately. In number 27, the Colorado Rockies, because they're the Colorado Rockies. Let's go look at how they're doing right now. Colorado Rockies 21-37, lost to -79 run differential, which I believe is third highest behind the White Sox and the Angels, or White Sox and the Marlins. And they just cannot win on the road. They just can't win on the road. They're just getting absolutely destroyed on the road. They can't do it. They just can't do it. Number 28, we have the Marlins. They also can't score any runs. I don't know if they're the worst offense, but they're them and the Mariners and the A's are down there, but not great. And Bendix said they're giving up. They're cashing it in. So expect some pretty sad baseball from the Marlins. And this past week, things have not gotten any better. So they are 5-5. They lost their last 2. Then they're 82 games. They've given up 300 runs, which they were supposed to be. Pitching was supposed to be their strength, and they can't beat anyone over 500. None of those things are going to translate into having much fun. And they're not winning at home or away. So it's tough. It's tough. Stuff out here in the streets, man. It's tough. In 29th, what the hell is wrong with the Angels? They just got swept by the Mariners at home. Not only did that, they gave up a bunch of runs to a not a very good offense. Even Reed Detmer struggled. He's been the only bright spot, really, in that organization. I genuinely don't know what the hell's going on there. But Detmers went down to AAA. Are you kidding? Did that really happen? No way. Okay. And Reed Detmers gets sent down, and he is the only one. He's the only guy. I mean, I know he hasn't he struggled the last few, but like, I mean, what else you got? Like, what else do you have? Like, kind of boggles my mind. And then the worst team currently in the major leagues, and I'm sure it's not a surprise to anybody at all. The White Sox, I believe they still only have 15 wins. They're 15-45. They've lost 11 straight, and they're 138 runs under. They've only won 5 games on the road all year, dude. Oh, so yeah, not a great time to be a Chicago White Sox fan. Only winning 15. I mean, frankly, it's funny because that record's still better than the A's was last year through 50 or 62 games. We were 12-50. But at this pace, man, they're on pace for like 40 wins. They're on pace to be one of the worst teams ever. So I hope they can figure it out. I hope that, I feel bad for Grifol having to kind of deal with this. But yeah, Chicago White Sox, the worst team in the league. With some honorable mentions, just on the outside of these bottom 5, I'll probably say, Oakland. And then, yeah, Oakland's probably the only one that's even really close, but because they're 64 under, but they haven't allowed 300 runs yet. And they've been hanging. They've been doing a little bit better than we would have anticipated. So I would say, even though they're probably in the bottom 10, they're not quite in the bottom 5 yet. So that is your Power 5 and your Mayday 5 for this week. So. Do we agree? Do we not agree? Record-setting year. Someone's got to do it, baby. Baby. All right, I have another thing that I really want to do real quick before we get into our breakdown/questions. And chat, we are going to go probably 20 minutes over, so we have another half hour in the show or so. So don't you worry, we'll be around. I'm going to give the pitching performance of the week and then the pitcher of the week, and they're not the same thing. Trust it. Can you please search? Please. Where is he?
The starter for
this is this week's pitching performance of the week. We got Ben Brown versus the Brewers. Cubs, Ben Brown. Real quick, let's watch some of these highlights where I explain what he did. He threw 7 no-hit innings, striking out 10. This guy throws freaking cheese. 7 no-no against one of our Power 5 tops. He punched 10 for the first time in his career, I believe. Though he hasn't been incredible in his career yet. That is freaking nasty. This kid is good, man. And he's got a little he looks a lot, he reminds me a lot of like a cross between like Logan Gilbert and Joey Weimers. Ew, that's what is that, an 89-mile-an-hour slider? 98 miles an hour at the bottom of the zone. Now, interesting, he looks like he might have a little bit of a dead zone fastball. The thing moves a little bit weird, but his slider's good, man. Really good. Now, his last outing, he struggled a little bit, gave up 5 runs, but this outing, he did great. That's Ben Brown. This week's performance of the week, Ben Brown. Congratulations, dude. You earned it. And then your pitcher of the week.
Bryce Miller up on the mound for the Mariners.
Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller threw 12 innings, allowed 1 run, allowed 8 hits, and struck out 15 while walking 3. That's good for a .8 whip and punching out 12 per 9. He's got that. We noticed he absolutely bullied Neto earlier. This kid has learned how to pitch. He's learned a sinker and a splitter this year. He's used it a lot. He throws lots of strikes. And he's part of one of the best pitching staffs, not only this year, but it's kind of coming out to be history a little bit this time. So, your pitcher of the week, in my opinion, is Bryce Miller. Congratulations, Bryce. You did great. There were some honorable mentions. Like I heard Max Fried in there. He threw really, really well this year, or his last outing, but he only threw once. Basically, I looked at guys with 2 starts and how they're doing. He punched 15, and he won 2 games. And right now, the Mariners need that real bad. So that is your pitcher of the week, Bryce Miller. Claps in the chat for Bryce. Good job, Bryce. You did it. You freaking did it, dude. Alrighty. You guys want to do a quick player breakdown? So I'm gonna do Luis Heel. We're gonna talk about why he has pitched so well this year. So here is your player breakdown. Luis Heel. If you guys have another player, I try to do 2 or 3. It can be a pitcher or a hitter if you want. So hit me with a couple more guys you might want to hear about in the chat right now while we get into Heel. We're breaking down. Guys, 26. So we're seeing, again, remember what we do here on this channel. We look at some of these predictive metrics and where they are in the league, how they rank in the league. Remember these sort of percentiles, kind of like how it was when you took your standardized testing in elementary school. And he is top percentage point in pitching run value. That's pretty good. And the lowest thing is breaking ball, and he's top 15%. This is all very projectable. Chase percent, take it or leave it. He's getting whiffs, though. If you don't have a ton of chase, but you're still getting whiffs, that means he's getting whiffs in the zone. That is a very good positive development. So if you see this low but this high, that actually means he's nastier than other guys. Walk percent, he does walk a few too many guys, but again, that can be trained. If you can just get back to 50%, it's going to make this even better. And then he's not a ground ball pitcher, so who cares? We don't really care about this if you get this and this. If these 2 are good, this one doesn't really matter. And if this is good and these 2 are good, dude, you're doing it. Extension, whatever, doesn't really matter either. That's just a deceptive stat. So this is all very good. Can he keep it up? I think he can. Let's go look at some movement. Or let's look at his command. Now, he throws 55% fastballs, and the average fastball is 97 miles an hour. That allows you to be in the middle of the zone a little bit more often. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday, Louis Gill. Louis Heel. Louis Heel. What up, dude? Happy birthday, bro. Let's get some happy birthdays in the chat. All right, let's look at some command stuff. Now, this is exactly where you want your... Hold on, I can zoom in. Let's go in here. Okay, yeah. Ooh, I like this. Okay. Four-seamer. This is not good. This is good. So you want to be up here. He is leaving the ball in the zone a little bit too much. That is something that might hurt him at some point if he throws too many of those or if he loses an off-speed pitch. So basically, when you have to default to your fastball, this doesn't work. But when your other pitches are effective and you're commanding them, then you can get away with it. That makes sense. But he is 55% fastball, so pay attention to that. Changeup. That's a thing of freaking beauty. This little diagonal here, exactly what you want to see. I love that. I love to see it. That'll play. And then slider, again, way more on the edges. Yeah, there's some hung, but way more on the edges, and these are the ones that are probably not being swung at. I want to see a little bit of a tighter cluster here. There's a lot of waste pitches. These are called non-competitive pitches. So, like, they're just thrown and no one's going to swing at him. Maybe Javi, but no one else. And then he's thrown a couple cutters, which I don't think he actually throws a cutter. I think that they just keep adding it. So. Wait. What happened? Oh, at bat. Yeah. AB is at bat. K is strikeout. I shouldn't assume. Because then you make an ass out of you and me. Okay. And then let's look at some run values. Everything's good except for the cutter, which I don't think he's actually throwing on purpose. Actually, we can tell right here. Let's look at the cutter. Yeah, no. These are just yanked fastballs. This is just a yanked fastball. I don't think he's actually throwing this. Or maybe it's just. Oh no, you know what it is? It's a really bad slider. It's a really bad slider. So he's just yanking a slider. So this isn't a real pitch, so I'm not going to count that. And then everything else is positive. He does not have a cutter. There's no way. Yeah, those are just yanks. Those are just really bad sliders. And basically nothing's being hit at all. Oh my God, are you serious? The highest batting average against is 148. He's better than I thought he was. And every expected batting average is also below 200. I'd say that's a good freaking sign. But let me look at his movement stats again. He's got a really high ride fastball, and this is a true riding heater. This is elite ride right here, boys and girls. Right here, that's a riding heater. Guys are going to swing under that all day. You add in a slider at 87 miles an hour. He tunnels it really, really well. And then the changeup is opening it all up. So this stuff doesn't really need to move because he has such a good fastball. So do I think he is, this is sustainable and that this is the real Louis Heel? Yes, I do. I do believe he is pitching towards his potential. I don't think he's going to get much better, but it is very, very predicated on his fastball being located well. If he doesn't locate his off-speed being located well, that makes his fastball better. If he doesn't locate these well, this will be all he has. And if this is all he has, he might struggle a little bit. So he's hanging on. He's a little bit teetering on the fence there. There's not a huge, range of error here. But he's not like Seth Lugo, where there's 5 different breaking balls. Seth's like, oh, these 2 aren't working, so I'm going to use the other 3 today. He doesn't have that. But truly dominant stuff. And if you have good command at this level, you're going to be really good. And it's shown out this year. I think Louis Heel is a guy. He is a guy you picked up who's going to be in the top 3 of your rotation for a long time. I think he's really good, man. All of that points to a long, good career. And if he keeps improving his off-speed stuff and maybe adds something at some point, a sinker or like a actual cutter, because it looks like he naturally can throw a cutter, then that can be his wrinkle pitch. I think he'll continue to be better. All right. And that is Louis Hill. Who else did we want to do? My opinion on Skeens. Did I ever hit a solo homer in MLB? I did not. You guys want to know why Taiwan's getting hit hard? Why can't you do super chats? I don't know. Do you? Oh, I actually do know, Jack. So, Jack, I basically am running this live stream on the YouTube as a little bit of a test, just to see what people are interested in doing. So, if you would like to super chat on there, I don't even know. Is the membership button even available? Zoo, thank you for your 43 months once again. If the membership button's not even live, I've been trying to test out whether or not it's worth it and people want it. But if you want it, I can turn it on. All right? I can do that. For next stream, I can do that. For you, anything. All right. So do we want to do we got Framber Valdez, no membership button. Cool. Okay, so I don't have monetization turned on in that way yet. Okay. But for your going into next week when we do this show, because we do this show at the same time every week, I will have memberships live for you. So if you would like to super chat, you like to do it over there, you can do it, and I will be notified here as well. So I'll be able to see it. I will. Awesome. You got it, Jack. I got you. All right, cool. So we did heal. Do we want to do? You want to do Freed? Let's do Freed. And do we have a hitter you guys want to do? I want to do a hitter too. Give me a hitter that you want to see. So again, all of this stuff wasn't trending very well at the beginning of the year. It has improved a lot. He gets soft contact all day, and he's a big ground ball guy. But his exit velo still he's the best in exit velo. So he's given lots of soft contact, but he's average in just about everything. So one thing Freed is not doing is striking guys out like he has in the past. Only 54 strikeouts in 66 innings, but he's got a 2.9. He can pitch. Maybe he's profiling as maybe a 2 in the rotation, but they got Sale right now too, so these things are okay. But this is going to be hyper consistency, especially when you have a good defense like he does. Again, he throws 18 different pitches. His command's always been good. His curveball command hasn't been great this year, but it is getting better. He throws 20% of the time. It's kind of all over the place. But and the cutter also is kind of tough. Sweeper, it seems like he's throwing it a little bit more, and that just is a variation of his curveball. But generally, his command is okay. He's just kind of leaving sinkers in the middle of the plate a little bit too much, and he was leaving four seams in the plate a little bit in the middle of the plate too much. But in his last 4 or 5 starts, he has moved it to the edges a little bit better and started to use all 7 pitches pretty effectively. As you can see, by 31% of his pitches are fastballs, 4-seam fastballs, and only 47% total fastballs. And he throws 5 other pitches 50% of the time. He's gross, and he has been gross for a long time. Let's look at his movement profile, and if it's changed at all. Because he's been around for a while, let's just see how big things have changed. His sliders lost 2 inches of depth, which is a little bit weird to me. But has it added velo? No, it's also slower. Which is, oh wait, no, this is slider. Wait, what's happening? Wait, okay, slider's here. He's added, he's lost 3 inches of depth and a little bit of velo, which is weird. So maybe he's struggling with his breaking balls a little bit. His 4-seam, he's another guy with a dead zone 4-seam fastball, but he's got a lot of deception. He falls off the mound and he throws 7 different pitches. That's what you have to do in order to do it. But he does have a dead zone 4-seam, but he's got a good slider with a lot of depth. This is so weird. I'm so confused. Okay, what was I looking at? That was a changeup. No, okay, so his slider's way bigger this year. Oh no, he gained 7 inches of depth on his slider. I feel like that is a grip change. So maybe that explains why it's a little bit weird in his command. Where's the slider? Yeah, slider, he's been a little bit more, it's like usually clustered, and it's a little bit all over the place because it looks like he changed the grip. Oh, I wonder. I should look that up. Interesting. He does tunnel well too, yes. He tunnels well. So, yes, I think Freed continues what he's doing, but he's going to be more of a contact guy. And metrically, he's not looking like strikeouts are going to come back in any big way unless he increases his command of his curveball a little bit better. I think his curveball is getting put in play more often than he's used to, and that is what it comes down to. Even though it's still 34% whiff, last year it was 40% whiff, right? So 5% more of the time it's getting put in play. A little bit different. All right, who was the hitter we're going to do real quick? Brett Rooker. Brett Rooker's raking. When did you know last year was going to be your last year? The moment 2022 ended. We could do Torkelson. Yeah, let's do Spencer Torkelson. our last breakdown. And then we have one more thing to do, and then we're going to get out of here. All right. So first things I'm noticing is a complete inability to go to the opposite field. He is dead pull and was dead pull all year. It's funny. He's hitting 201, which is higher than Joey Gallo's career batting average. So take with that with what you will. But the OPS is low to be a 3 or 4 hitter, which they need him to be a power guy. He's just not producing power numbers. He's only hit 4 homers this year. And let's see what's going on. And he's also not a very good fielder. So he's been a liability at first base. He's average speed. He's below average strikeouts, walks. He's not walking very much. He's not getting on base very much. And he's just not hitting the ball hard. And he's also not very good at hard hits right now. So like basically if you do all of this, right? If this is all below average, then barrel percent needs to be way up. And these two need to be high. So basically you're trading off swing and miss. You're trading swing and miss for pop. He's swinging and missing and has no pop. And he's not a good enough fielder to have out there as a defensive player only. So the only thing he's above average is base running, which is not a good sign when you're a first baseman. All right? So let's go look at what he's struggling with. It looks like there's something off and he's getting blown away by fastballs. So what we're looking at here is, where is it? The run value here, -3 on 14 fastballs. I mean, expected batting average. He's just not hitting them hard, man. He's only hitting fastballs hard 35% of the time. That needs to be 50 plus. That has to be 50 plus. So for reference, top 6% of the MLB last year in hard hit percent, and this year, nah. Not good. So he's struggling. He's swinging and missing a lot. He's not walking. And when he does hit the ball, it's not hard. So he's in between, it looks like, breaking balls and fastballs. That's a very common thing you need to know about hitters. When you get in between off speed and fastballs, especially as a big power guy, then your slumps get really, really, really hard to get out of because you have to pick one direction to go in because you generally swing harder, have longer swings. Austin Riley has also mentioned this as an issue. When he gets in between pitches is when he really struggles. But when he gets on one and then lets his bat carry through the zone for the other one, and he gets, so what happens is you're in between, you're not on time for either one, but then you get on time with one, and then you adjust your swing to allow you to get to the other thing. That's kind of how it works. Torkelson gets sent down. The White Sox continue batting Andrew Vaughn fourth. That is an example of Andrew Vaughn being very, very lucky that he's on one of the worst offenses ever. Because you're going to get opportunities. Getting opportunities in the major leagues, guys, is very, very dependent on timing and just like, are you going to get the chance to work through your trash year? AKA me in 2014, our team was bad and I had an 8, and they let me just keep on sucking butt. I just got to keep on sucking butt. So this all makes sense to me. What they're looking for is for him to start hitting the ball a little bit harder and to work the zone a little bit more. I bet you when the walk rate goes up a little bit and the barrel percent starts to go up, everything else will kind of go with it. But he's actually, it's funny, he's struggling a lot and he's still overperforming his expected batting average by 10 points. So like, you can't say it's, so basically they look at it, they're like, this isn't luck. He's not getting unlucky. He's just not hitting the ball hard at all. So he's got to go figure things out in the minor leagues because we're trying to compete. And they are. They're about 500. They're trying to hang around. And he's a 1-1. So, but I got faith. I think he'll do it because last year he had a good year, man. But it just hasn't happened this year. Okay. All right. And that is our player breakdowns. Thank you guys so much. So we're going to go into our end segment of the show today. Feel free to ask a few more questions. We have about 15 minutes to work with here, the rest of the show. I would love to continue to break down anything you guys want to know about. But also, I would love for you guys to go or to think right now about what you would like to do for next week's question of the week. Let me scroll down on this. Actually, let me move this over. I'll move this over for you. So we're doing a question of the week. What question should we ask for next week? You can go in here. You can answer the questions. We go over them on the show, live on the show. So what question would you like me to add into the question of the week? And also any other questions you have for me today before we take off. Thank you so much. Question of the week. And if we can't come up with something, then I will come up with something. But make sure you are in the Discord so you are able to do this. And also, if you don't subscribe to the Mayday pod, the Mayday with Trevor May, I take 3 subjects. I go deeper dives into them. It is a podcast that is between 40 and 50 minutes long. I'm trying to do one a week. If you like podcasts, just like have easy listening, whatever. We went over Angel Hernandez last time, like him retiring and why he was so bad and things like that in the last episode. So go check that out anywhere you listen to a podcast. And it's also on the channel too. It's on the podcast on the YouTube as well, if you're interested in that. Thank you guys so much. And make sure that you like the YouTube stream. That is how people find out that this stream exists, is by liking it, so it gets recommended to other people that like the same type of content. I've been thinking about a lot about this lately. How long can Paul Skeens keep up his velocity until he gets hurt? Do you start slowing down to not get hurt? You cannot stop slowing. Okay, so slowing down never helped me. Slowing down isn't a thing that anyone's ever going to do, frankly. You're just going to chance getting hurt. Because if you pitch tentatively, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you pitch tentatively, it doesn't work. So if you throw hard and you know you have velo and you're not using it, you will not be as confident in the pitches you're throwing. It's just that simple. Full stop. The link to the podcast in the YouTube description. I will add it. Yes, I will add it. All my links. Oh, frick. Here, I'll post it right here too. Put it in the chat. Actually, Game Over or Danny, can you put in the link tree? That's the MCA pod. It's the all my links. I just posted it on my Twitter. If you could grab it. Yeah, there you go. That's the wrong podcast. We need a new command for the Mayday podcast, which is basically the companion pod for this. It's literally like my second to last tweet. The link's in there if you want to really quickly throw it in. That'd be really helpful. Thank you. And so Jack has it. Also, Jack, there is on the podcast tab on the channel you're on right now. It also is there. There it is. That's the link right there. Trevor May I Am right there for the pod. Cool. Awesome. Will you repost the podcast on YouTube? It is currently there. There's just a tab at the top of the screen. If you click on podcast, it'll be there. The newest episode. The RSS feed is on YouTube. Okay, so can Paul Skeens keep up his velocity? I think he can. But this is a wait and see situation. At the end of the day, there is not conclusive evidence that 100 is the limits of a human being. We'll see how long he can do it. But remember, guys, Garrett Cole threw 98 to 100 for like 7 years before he got hurt. So it's entirely possible. It just depends on the guy and the circumstances and the stress involved. I know this stuff is off topic. Would you play Monopoly with Marcel, Tim, Legion, and Courage again? I would play Monopoly with them every single day forever if they wanted. That was so much fun. What is actually wrong with the Astros this year by your estimation? Their pitching is terrible. Hunter Brown has been really bad. Arrighetti has not thrown very well. Verlander is older and hasn't really gotten his feet under him. Framber has not thrown well. And the one guy who threw well got a 10-game suspension. So that's what's happened. Their starting pitcher has been god-awful, and their bullpen struggled a lot at the beginning, and their offense has been really good. Their offense has been, as advertised, their offense has been one of the better ones in the league. I think they're top 5. So, like, it's their pitching, man. Hunter Brown's got to pick it up. You need more out of Hunter. You need one of these young guys to to step up, and they don't have an ace right now. But they have been better as of late, and they have one more as of late. But they're going to have to get back into Astros pitching form before you see any big things happening. Trevor, have you been afraid to go up a pitcher? Like me against a pitcher? No, never. Who should the Mariners trade for? Pete. I think the Mariners should trade for Pete Alonso. They won't. The things that JD Martinez might be a good pickup for them. JD, I think, would be a good pickup as a DH option. The problem is they have so many DHs that he actually might have to play the outfield. I don't know who else is available. All right. But they could get JD for like cash probably, or cash in like a double A reliever or something. Justin Turner, possibly. Now I haven't done a deep dive, but like a veteran guy who can hit. It's just it's tough because like if they went and got Pete, they would have to re-sign him, and they won't. So. Do you like the pitch clock? I've come around on it. I think there's still some big issues with it. I don't think it's. I think it's a thing that people have to get used to. But as a viewer, sometimes the game feels like it's going too fast, and I would like it. I would like some tension to build just in big moments. I think it gets a little like we're in a hurry to get out of there sometimes, and that doesn't feel great. But not all the time. But generally the pacing is better. And it's more predictable, and I think that's better for a viewing. Overall, net positive. Even though I struggled really hard to get to adjust to it, and that's frustrating. And I don't like the way they institute these things, and I don't like the way they ignore player feedback on these things. But that's more of me having an issue with people who make decisions, not their decisions specifically. So, have you ever had to go to the bathroom on the mound? Many times. Yes. Need to give the pitchers game perks so they can extend the clock during the game. Give them like a. I think like adding stuff like that is really, really, really interesting. Like you play a card game of. I would call it gamifying it when it's a game. But like being like, no pitch clock for an at bat or something, and like you can play it, and your team gets one a game or something. I don't know, stuff like that. Maybe not that specifically, but stuff like that. Fans could dono the perks. That's what I be saying, bro. Wouldn't that be awesome? Phone a friend, pitching edition. Big facts. Big facts. All right, guys. I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I'm trying to be more strict and be more on top of this, and make sure I'm not extending for no reason. They need this Twins lineup is kind of like 06-07, where they have 1 or 2 seasons, do something before the chances pass, or does this lineup stick together and mature and actually have a shot at the title? I mean, I think they've had a shot at the title for a while now. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of a special lineup, and here's the deal. I will say, always assume that in baseball you have a 2 or 3 year window. Like, that's a good assumption. I think that's the best you can ask for. Anything other than that is bonus. Like, getting what the Astros have, that's a bonus. That's a philosophy thing, because they're getting rollover, they're getting turnover, and they're still the guys coming in are replacing the other guys well. You want to get in that situation. So, like, don't expect the same core to be the ones to do it for more than 2 or 3 years. Is there a league of retired baseball players? I don't know, probably. But no, thank you. My arm hurts. I'm good. Who would you rather charge the mound, Altuve or Stanton? I would much rather Stanton come out. Altuve is too fast. Why is my watch talking to me? Shut up. What's happening? Why are you speaking out loud? Anyway. HRBPBBT. HRPBTV. Hello. Cool live stream. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate you. Roy's coming back. Stuff. Okay, guys. Thoughts on the Dodgers? They're close. They're my number 6 best team on the power rankings. All right, guys. I love you. Any cooking baking streams coming back? I'm thinking about it. I've been baking a lot. I kind of want to do some version of this show, but with baking involved. Like, we talk baseball and baking, and I bake and talk about baseball and answer baseball questions. I think that would be a big blasterson. Why not? Would that be cool? All right, I'll bake skitball, bakes ball, samurai, you nutty McNutterson, dude. Bakes ball. Okay, frick. Now the name's so good that I have to do it. My mods are like, Can he not just stop committing to things? Baseball. Okay. All right. Hey, that'll be a weekend thing. Maybe we do it. I have a lot of projects going right now, so give me a moment. But if we get this smoothed out and going nicely, maybe I'll do it. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna take off. That concludes the second ever episode of Mayday Monday. Make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you like the stream on YouTube. Make sure you follow the stream on Twitch. You can sub if you want. Thank you to all the guys who resubbed, all the people who resubbed, all the kind messages. We had a few, I think we had a couple donations of bits. For some reason, I can't see it. I don't know what's going on, but thank you so much if you donated. I will be adding more stuff. We're going to have more segments. Also, if you join the Discord and you're like, man, I didn't like that segment or whatever, I'm going to be asking questions. So I'm going to be pretty active in there because I want to make sure this is a good experience for you and that you guys are being able to ask all the questions you want to ask, because I want to be here and I want to give you insight and inspiration and whatever. I just want to tell you what you want to hear, because I know that a lot of the live shows, you watch an ESPN, you watch MLB TV, you can't ask the people on the screen any questions, and I want to bridge that gap and bring on guests and stuff. So is it ending? It's ending. We are ending today because I have baby stuff to do today. So I'm going to be playing Minecraft later today, but I'm going to be recording it, so pay attention for that first Cobblemon episode. I haven't had a lot of time to play, but I'm a busy man. Doing busy stuff. And it's just the way it is, all right? I love you guys. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time for Mayday Monday. Bye-bye.